Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Saints Row, all the news coverage. Although I will admit I'm always fashionably late. I apologize, but we're a couple days off. This came out a couple days ago, maybe 2 or 3. By the time I get this to you, probably 3. Forgive me, but regardless, essentially there was a brand new developer update. I'm subscribed to the newsletter, so I get them every whenever I do, and they're in my spam box essentially. So shit. Regardless, ladies and gentlemen, today we're gonna get some must-needed clarity on everything Saints Row, especially with it being a reboot. We're all hoping for a little bit more and hoping that we get the things that we want. Additions coming over, gameplay variety, hopefully greater customization and care in terms of detail, and also not like taking away anything we love from the series like conquest and all those kinds of things. Regardless, today we're going to be talking about the characters, customizations, and of course co-op, which to me the co-op has always been a nice additive to Saints Row, but I wonder how they'll scale it up if they're trying to do that. Regardless, let's go through this. Hello, Saints! I don't know why you're yelling at me. It's been a couple of weeks since we've announced Saints Row. We've been looking at all of your various responses and questions that have come up. Rebooting Saints Row is a big change, and change is never easy. But we set ourselves a mission to build the very best Saints Row game we could ever make. And we're confident that from longtime and newer Saints Row fans, I'm going to try to condense this, otherwise it's going to take a long time. Also, my fucking ravenous dyslexia will just rip us apart. Anyway, so essentially developers are saying it's not an easy choice to actually reboot Saints Row, but alas is the choice that they wanted to make because they felt like they couldn't go anywhere else in terms of the previous Saints Row world, which I still think there's a way to make, like, appease kind of everyone by, like, just making these the next generation or the offspring of our kids after a colonized planet. Anyways, because the point is that it's not necessarily that you want to keep going up and above and beyond. And I think Gat Out of Hell showed that you could go backwards. You didn't have to necessarily, go to conquer 7 planets. You could just conquer a town. Basically what we do, They say, saying that, we're also wanting to answer some of the questions we've seen. This is a Saints Row game through and through, and that brings a lot of opportunities to create and show off new things. We also see that you really want to see more of the game, what it looks like moment to moment gameplay. Yes, exactly, that's what I want immensely, yeah. We're busy reading some things behind the scenes and looking forward to unraveling them when ready. Okay, gotcha. Saints Row is pretty close though, so like we should probably begin it probably in the next couple months, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So yeah, they're aware that we want to see the gameplay, we want to see what it looks like, every kind of beat is like, what's the new gameplay variety? Is it the same kind of just straight up going backwards in time and just shooting people in the head like we've always been doing, or are they going to give us like commands or something else to kind of spice up the combat and not just be a point-click shoot done the end kind of game? Maybe they fucking overhaul the share the takedowns and make that like a whole thing. Who knows? but yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is essentially just going to be breaking down the questions that they've seen around the community, starting apparently with criminal characters, which I believe is the characters we're actually playing in Saints Row. So essentially saying the reason why they had to reboot the series because they wanted to introduce what it was like on the come up of like pure creation. Although I feel like Saints Row 2, it was already pretty well, felt really well, like on the ground, slowly getting with steam. But essentially they're saying that it was going to be really challenging for them to introduce new characters after the events of Saints Row 4, where the whole fucking planet got blown up. I mean, we're going to another planet with 1,000 potentially new characters, but sure. Anyways, the Saints became masters of time and space, and we all always knew we wanted to do something new. When creating the new characters, we wanted to have real criminals that are almost relatable. Weird. It was important they needed to have raw skills to start a criminal organization, but they also needed to start from the beginning. These aren't grizzled characters into their criminal career, but rather at the start of their journey. Plus, it's always the ones you suspect the least who are the most dangerous. But isn't it because they're dangerous because you don't expect them? So it's not even that they're dangerous, it's just that no one looks at them, so they're inherently have greater access, essentially. Anyways, disillusioned with the American dream, trying to make ends meet, and sick of the working for other gangs. Why don't you just get a fucking job? Or new characters decide to use their skills to start their own criminal ventures, take over the city and get rich. During this journey, they take over more and more of the underbelly of Santo Lasso. And that's when you start noticing some visual changes. Oh, okay, what does this mean? A lot of you have been asking, what happened to the classic Saints Fleur and Purple? Oh, I see. Okay, well, that makes sense to me. They're starting up. Like, what? They haven't established their look yet. Rest assured, there are still very much part of the Saints Row identity. We begin by showing the Saints at the start of their criminal journey. Over the course of the game, they will then become Saints and rise up and get the same colors and the gaudiness and the all purple and all that. Reaping rewards and recruiting along the way. Nice. The further they go down the path, the more you'll see the purple uniform come into play. And the more visually adorned with purple and fleur they'll have at HQ. So it does look like, it seems like it is in every way a growth thing. I just wonder if there's like a place where you can like buy your Saints to have like a specific uniform that looks badass, stupid, sexy, frustrating, cringy, whatever. Like, that's the one thing that I really want to see, is the progression, because that's something that I think is like one of the things that Saints Row did really well, and I want it to do it even better, because I feel like it's one of the few things it could, because in previous games it did that. Like, you could upgrade your penthouse and spend like a ton of money, because money was essentially like level up points. It was all the same currency, so you could just choose what you wanted. I just hope that there's now, and Saints Row was always really good about there being a positive with the choice. So it wasn't just that you were buying something cosmetic, it was that you were buying something like in your crib that would maybe eventually scale up and give you like a little bit more HP on your recruits or something like that. Or that's what at least I'm hoping. Maybe it was not like to that extent, but that'd be really cool too. Anyways, so yeah, basically the Saints, the people we're playing, they're on the come up. Eventually they will get their identity as the Saints Rows. The purple, the fluff, the gangster shit, all that will be back, apparently. Good. Okay, so they're really pleased that they're giving us now the opportunity to witness and create the birth of the Saints. Yeah. So I understand that's like the nice draw. Again, I want my cake and eat it too, but I want to have the come up story, but don't shave off any of the gameplay variety. Like the fact that we could throw fireballs and summon imps. I don't want that to be nixed for what? Some fucking like weirdos. Why? I'm gonna butcher all of these names, but yeah, we already kind of got a really good idea for what the characters are themselves and within the like the developer conversation thing. But yeah, Nina, she's the driver. Looks badass. I feel like she's gonna have some ties within like the gang that we actually seen them fighting against, the ones that were like muscle heads. Kevin, of course, is like the Johnny Gat replacement, like the bruiser, the weirdo who's strong as shit, has an affinity for damage and chaos, probably just wants to be a chef and wants some friends, which is hilarious. And the soul of Saints Row in some sense. Eli is the business mastermind. Yes, I'm really hoping for Eli to be the person that, like, to me gives the chaos a reason. So, like, takes all the money from, like, the violence, the gang organization, and then funnels it into, like, a badass penthouse, like a military guard, or like to summon in like an attack chopper or something. I want Eli to be that. Okay, please, Eli, give us gameplay and investment, please. Yes, and then finally the boss. Also, yeah, Eli's just like the nerd who kind of he's like the businessman, exactly what they said. But finally the boss. Regardless of your look, you are the ultimate murder machine that shoots first and asks later. The boss is overconfident and doesn't do well following orders. Ultimately, the boss is you. You get to decide who you want to be and do things you want to do. Becoming self-made and forming the new Saints. Of course, the customization options allow you to make literally the boss any way you want and speak. Yeah, that's always awesome in Saints Row. But I don't know. I like the idea that the boss is like, on like a basic level, is like a murder machine, because it's like essentially the boss is a super powered individual that is like, no matter what happens, he'll get whatever he wants. He's like the ultimate like machine. Like you're like, your whole thing is you're the boss. It's like giving an AI, you're the boss, get here. And then there's like and they start just fucking chewing their way to the top, which is awesome. But one of the things that I think was also really sweet in the Saints Row 3 and to some extent, even in Saints Row 2, was there was like this underlying sense of like, yeah, the boss is this like murder machine, but he is also like a good friend, or he cares about his gang members or his friends or his people that bet on him. He'll go and pull them out of fire kind of shit, which to me made the boss like a really grounded and like human. Otherwise it would literally just feel like you're playing a stupid machine. But it made that character feel so like intertwined and impactful, like, hey, these are my people. You're not gonna fucking touch my people. Okay? And I loved that thing. That was like, that's what made the boss seem like a human being, a genuine person, and a person who ultimately deserved to wear the crown, so to speak. So yeah, I hope that doesn't, it's not just like, hey, you're a fucking blindless drone. Because there's plenty of games that do that, and that's something I thought the Saints Row series always did a little bit better. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get into that. Customization. Oh, okay, also, wait, before we get that, all of our cast begins their journey with a police record, gang affiliations, or aspirations of their life of crime. But it's together with your saint boss-to-be that you'll be... Okay, exactly what I just said. So yeah, so it's like the boss is going to enable them and to be their like friend slash plan B when their plans kind of go awry, which I love that. Also, it's cool that I think this is what people are speculating, similar to Saints Row 2, which is each one of your gang people had like a weird investment tied to one of the other rival gangs in the city. So it looks like our characters like Eli and all of these people are going to have their own kind of people who they're frustrated with and such, which is interesting. But anyways, customizations. Saints Row wouldn't be Saints Row without customizations, they say. So of course, in this game, there'll be tons of customizations. Oh, okay, that's a big thing to say. We've built the biggest customization suite of any Saints Row game. We have the most in-depth character creator, ever seen in a Saints Row game. You can create exactly who you want to play as, whether that's a stone cold killer or a fantastic looking freak show. There are 8 customization voices. Holy shit, that's a good bit. You can choose from the boss. 4 males and 4 females. All sound great. And again, more choices than we've ever offered in other Saints Row games. And also, you'll be pleased to hear, layering clothing is back! Okay, so that's what I want to know. So they said, basically their statement of like the most customization they've ever added in the game, I was worried that it was just going to be character creator. Like, I was like, okay, I mean, that's awesome, but like, what about the clothes and the fucking weirdness and like designing shit? That was always awesome to me. But no, they're adding a layering back, which was so fucking like weird. It was in Saints Row 2, but you could put on like bandages, put on a shirt, put on like a necklace, and it would all somehow work. Although it would look a little fucky, but hopefully it doesn't look that bad this time around. But that's awesome. Yeah, Saints Row has always been abnormal with their customization. Like, you're like, okay, I mean, why? But okay. I mean, it makes the game, but anyway. In terms of vehicles, we have a huge array of customization options to dig into, and any vehicles you customize will be safely stored in your garage. There's a lot looking forward to and much more to come, including some big surprises we can't share just yet, as well as some features that are sure to make jaws drop. Okay. And this is all through the guise of customizations. Sorry to stop the video, guys, but what do you guys think that'll be? I'm curious. That's because it like our funneling of information is through the customization. So they have apparently a lot more jaw-dropping customization things to like talk about. What could that be? Maybe like Saints? Maybe like what we're talking about? Like maybe like because people are worried about the fact that we're going to be going backwards in terms of gameplay, including myself. Maybe this is their way of being like, okay, well now you can customize your Saints, and maybe the reason why that's somewhat relevant is because the customization for your Saints could be a part of your toolkit, like your actual like gameplay that could replace some of the like throwing a fireball. You instead could hit a button and basically tell your Saints just bomb an area with a bazooka real quick. Although I would really love like, I like the, because Saints Row has been always really cool with like, it's like filmed. So like when you do a takedown, you'll like beat someone up and then you'll do like a pose on the ground as if someone's like filming you, and then you'll like get up and you're like, all right, cool. And we got the shot, and then it'll progress. So I always thought it'd be really cool if they played with like camera angles. So when you cast your ability or hit one of your special abilities, if you're like a saint would like come out of like the camera like a void sphere where like they can't see, and then like fire an RPG and blow up that spot, you know, otherwise it'd just be a person teleporting in. So I thought that would always be rather interesting. Also, it would make you feel like the boss who's running with a shit ton of people behind him, you know, not just this one guy who's like, what the fuck, I'm the boss of nothing, there's no one here, I'm just killing everybody. what? I'm supposed to be the one who's at the top watching my underlings do shit. But if they give us customizations for like our characters and they give us that kind of thing, that'd be amazing. But I'm also just probably wishful thinking in some regard. They could just mean, hey, we're also gonna give you planes and you can customize helicopters. And I'm like, okay, what? And alas, something that I'm excited for, but I don't know, to me it just never really gets me like absolutely hyped. But setting a new tone. Okay, tone actually might be good. Setting though, yeah. So the game is gonna keep classic Saints humor. Okay, so they say they changed some stuff, but there's gonna be plenty of Easter eggs and cameos to hunt down. Does that mean like oh, here's like some assholes by a garbage can talking about Shandy or whatever, or like they had a weird dream about some guy who a person blew up the world or something, I don't know. But Santo Lasso is a vibrant, fictional city in the heart of the American Southwest. But you can still expect that Saints Row brand of excellent music taste will take more about music in a game later date. Definitely something to look forward to. So yeah, there's gonna be like, there's great music, there's a new city to explore, there's new gangs to tear down, and of course, this seems like the humor and whatnot is staying the same, and there will be Easter eggs, hopefully tying back to the first game. But now, it doesn't look like there's a lot here. Fully untethered co-op. I'm delighted to reconfirm that there will be a seamless co-op offer for the full game. That is cross-gen. Golly, I didn't know that. I think we did actually. I just didn't really set in. There's too many things coming at us. Well, okay, that's awesome. So there's cross-gen. So if you're playing on PS4, PC, or whatever, it should be cross-play. Or is it? Yeah, I think it's I hope cross-gen means cross-play. So whenever a player in the newest or more seasoned gaming hardware, you can enjoy the freedom of playing the entire campaign with a friend through seamlessly untethered co-op drop in and drop out, not getting stuck waiting around in lobbies. We always put gameplay first. Lately, we have some awesome co-op surprises in store for you, but that's all I'll have. Yeah, I was going to say, they're not going to give us all the bits and tidbits too quickly. But no, that's very good. I'm happy to, like, one of the biggest things people were concerned about, which I was shocked by when I first heard people talking about, like, Saints Row. They're like, oh my god, what about customization? Who are these fucking people? Which I get, like, people like, one of the, I think there's a couple like cornerstones of Saints Row. One of them is absolutely the customization. The other is the conquest mentality. Very few games do it so well as Saints Row does, but like grabbing this part of land, going to the next part of land, grabbing that, and also unraveling the story in between, and maybe falling in love with some side characters along the way. But then the other thing to me that the Saints Row series kind of cemented as it progressed was that it keeps making the gameplay better. Like, you know, Saints Row 2, it was great, but Saints Row 3 in terms of gameplay got a little bit better, kind of different, like less customization, but a little bit more, you know, takedowns and all of these weird things, and like cool camera shot things when you're doing a takedown and beating people to death, all that stuff. But then Saints Row 4, where you're fucking a superpower, wrecking people, that's insane. That's where now the series has shown that it's starting to like give us more and more gameplay options, so it's not just the same formula rehashed almost to a T, Ubisoft. Anyways, but then we got Get Out of Hell, and again, they did it again. They revamped the thing to enough to where people were falling in love. Also, the way they did the art style in Get Out of Hell just made it really fresh. So to see that it's reboot, again, the only valid concern is that we're gonna have less gameplay variety. And one of the things that also freaked me out, just personally, is in like the previous couple things we read, like when the game was first coming out, they talked about like Saints Row being like a blockbuster hit kind of thing. Like it's always been like a very like cutscene heavy, like cool cinematic but insane, which I love. But I also, I keep saying it in like underneath all of these things, so I am very worried about it. I am like, it's my one worry. I think I'm gonna love the game regardless if this is the case. But I do think that the whole like going backwards in terms of gameplay would be shitty. Would be like to not have the option to like throw a fireball. I don't think we should throw fireballs. I just think there should be something that just like in the realm of possibilities that can kind of replace and not just outright nix the gameplay variety entirely, besides like a gun that does wubs, you know, which is like, okay, but what happens when I've wubbed everybody for 2 hours and I'm like, I'm done. I'm done wubbing. Whereas it never got old freezing someone, cracking them with a melee weapon, shooting them with a bazooka, throwing a fireball on them, calling imps to ravage your fucking people, using a special weird as shit weapon that was a legendary basically, that was you sitting down in a recliner as missiles and machine guns rained out of it. You know, like shit like that. I'm like, I hope we didn't lose that. Which maybe that's also what they're talking about customization. Maybe like guns have like insane variability now and can become even more fun and chaotic, and maybe you can actually build characters around them, increasing your gameplay viability at endgame, or even just throw it the way. That could be interesting. I could see them that being a way from them to replace some of the combat too, is if they just kind of did the thing that Saints Row was so known for with adding insane customization and almost adding like a layering system to the weapons itself, giving them more and more weird like auto-locking, applying a fire dot, weakening the enemies, having a chance to summon like a skull or some shit that like seeks out another enemy, or a poison or whatever the fuck, I don't know. Anyway, point is that I hope that in the future we'll get that gameplay breakdown, that gameplay play-by-play like they were saying, and see if like there is some pretty awesome gameplay variety. Hopefully we'll get that sooner rather than later. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been Saints Row. A quick we're gonna keep doing this whenever they really, well, maybe not whenever. I might, like, if they release music like one that doesn't cover characters or anything that it's too interesting, I'll just wait until we get something that is interesting and then quickly cover the previous ones in succession to be like, okay, here's what they said, okay, bye. Okay, next thing. But ladies and gentlemen, I'll keep you informed on this because I love Saints Row to bits, and I really hoping it comes out perfect. I think, again, even if I'd still love it. I'm just like, well, maybe, but in reality, I'm like, I'd still play it. I love it. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Hope you guys do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for putting out with me. Also, if you happen to like the video or share it around, appreciate you as always for the support. Thank you again. And let me know what your biggest worry is for Saints Row, because I know a lot of people have, hopefully at this point, they've kind of started like quieting the nerves. I mean, again, gameplay, play-by-play will definitely, I think, sate a lot of people's like, what the hell's happening? Are we going to get like an enhancement to what we've already loved? Or are we just kind of coming out of this reboot with less? Who knows? Hopefully not. Very excited for the game though, as you guys probably can tell. Thank you again for your time, and goodbye.